Hello all, a very good day to all of you. I hope your preparations are going well. Today we'll be discussing the second set of the second PU English model question paper. Previously we had done the first set, okay. So the second and final set will be discussed here. So will prove to be much helpful in this final exam preparations. So we'll discuss the answers. So moving on, the first we have our 1 markers. Okay, the word garish is associated with dash in Romeo and Juliet. The word garish is associated with son, option B. Second question, choose the right sequence of incidents as they place in 2 Dear. Option B is correct. Death punishment was changed to life imprisonment. Expenditure came to 600 francs. The guard was dismissed. The criminal did not run away. Okay, the third question. The main speaker of the poem On Children is a prophet. Yeah. Moving on. Fourth question, match column A with column B. We will have a mandatory match the following question as part of 1 markers. So you've seen the pattern, you know. Okay. Match column A with column B with reference to the play A Sunny Morning and choose the correct option. So Wild Boar's Head, Gonzalo's Study, Tiger Skin, Laura's Boudoir, Handkerchief as a Shoe Brush. So C2. A3, B1, C2. Yeah, option A is correct. Yeah, in the story, the gardener Dash found it hard to decide whether the old man's arrival was for the better or for the worse. Option D, the owner's wife, is correct. Sixth question, which of the following quote by Bernard Shaw as mentioned in I Believe That Books Will Never Disappear? Which of the following quote as mentioned, I believe the books will never disappear? Yeah, option C, every book worth being reread has been written by the Spirit. Moving on. Seventh question, according to George Mikes, Dash is more dangerous than anything else in Japan. Option B, eating soup. Eighth question, identify the correct statement with reference to the voter. Option C is correct. Rufus Okeke tore the ballot paper into 2 pieces and put 1/2 in each box. Ninth question, Dash is the owner of Ram Cycles in where there is a wheel. S. Kannakarajan is correct. 10th question, the Panchama had to wait at the well until Dash arrived to draw water in the poem Water. It is Ashudra. Option C is correct. Yeah, moving on. The 11th question, Basavaya tried to outshine Tamanna in his own way. So we discussed verb forms, passive form of the verb yesterday. What did we discuss? We were told that, or I explained that the B form of the verb with the V3 or the past participle form of the verb should be written. So here we have Basavaya tried to outshine Tamanna in his own way. A palatial house was built is correct. Was built by him. People, so it is plural. People were appointed. To praise him. Scholars, poets and musicians were invited is correct. So these are the answers. Was built, were appointed, and were invited. Yeah. So the B form of the verb with the past participle form of the root verb. The root verb being the verb given in the bracket. Okay. So moving on, fill in the blanks by choosing the appropriate expressions given in the brackets. Ramesh had promised to give up sweets as per doctor's advice as he was diabetic. Yeah, his dash when he saw sweet printed sugar free, his face lit up. Face lit up is basically, I think, being happy. So we discussed this yesterday. So Ramesh had promised to give up. Give up meaning stop doing something entirely. So Ramesh had promised to give up sweets as per doctor's advice. As he was a diabetic, his face lit up when he saw a sweet printed sugar free. Okay, moving on. Yeah, match the following question. Read the following paragraph and match the pronouns in side A with noun phrases in side B. Okay. Goldsmith was also called Dr. Goldsmith because he here refers to Dr. Goldsmith had studied medicine. One day a poor woman visited at his house. She would be she being the poor woman here. She asked him if he would come to see her husband, who being the poor woman's husband, was sick and would not eat any food. Goldsmith gave her a small box which had money in it. So yeah, so this is how you write the answer: A4, B3, C5, D2 and E1. Okay, so correct. Check again. Okay, moving on. So that is all the questions in part A. Moving on to part B. Yeah, moving on part B, answer any three of the following questions in 2 sentences, words, phrases. Give any 2 images that describe the beauty of Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. 14th question. I think we have the metaphors here. She hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Yeah, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Then she is compared to a snowy dove amid a troop of crows. Troop of crows. Yeah, what else? She teaches the torches to burn bright. So these are some of the images that Romeo uses to describe Juliet's beauty. You can write either of the 2. You can, mainly there are 2 metaphors used. You can use just any 2 of the metaphors that Romeo uses to describe Juliet. Yeah, moving on. Next question. What do bows and arrows refer to? What do bows and arrows refer to? Bows refer to the parents, arrows refer to the children. Yeah. What do bows and arrows refer to? Bows refer to the parents, arrows refer to the children in the poem On Children. 16th question. What were the parents of Vandana Shiva? What were the parents? As in their profession. Okay. So Vandana Shiva's father was a forest conservator. And mother was a farmer. Okay, mother was a farmer, father was a forest conservator. 17th question. Where does the water sit innocently in the poem Water? Okay, where does it dance into? So water sits innocently. Water sits innocently in a Bisleri bottle. In a Bisleri bottle, it dances its way into a Pepsi Man's bottle. into a Pepsi Man's bottle. Yeah, moving on. The 60 word 3-mark questions. Okay, so we have the answers also. 18th question, why did Vandana Shiva start Navdanya Farm? So Navdanya Farm was the brainchild or one of the initiatives of Vandana Shiva. So why did she start Navdanya Farm? So the lessons that Vandana Shiva learned, the lessons learned about diversity in the Himalayan forests were transferred to the protection of biodiversity on the farms. She started saving seeds from farmers' fields and realized they needed a farm for demonstration and training, which is how Navdanya was started. So basically, initially, during the initial phase of her activism, Vandana Shiva used to participate in a lot of movements, namely Chipko movement. So all those experiences of that she learned from these said movements, she had to employ it or execute it in the farms. Okay, so she realized that the biodiversity or the diversity she saw in nature can be employed in the farms as well. So and she wanted to set an example, which is why she started Navdanya Farm. Moving on to the next question. Why do Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo choose not to reveal their identities to each other? We had a similar question in the previous model question paper as well. Why do they not choose to reveal their identities? So here only the points are given. So they want to preserve the idealized youthful memories of their past romance. So as I said in the previous video as well, in their younger days, okay, Donna Laura addresses Don Gonzalo as the gallant horseman. Okay. The gallant horseman. And how does Don Gonzalo address Donna Laura as? The silver maiden. Okay. So they had, they had a very ideal image, a perfect image of their lover in their younger days. So years later, when they are meeting, they are both old and they feel that they are unattractive. Okay. So as the other person is explaining, as Don Gonzalo is explaining about Silver Maiden to Donna Laura, she realizes that Don Gonzalo has a very perfect ideal image of his lover. And Donna Laura does not feel like presenting herself in her present state to him. And Don Gonzalo also realizes that when Donna Laura calls him the gallant horseman, he also realizes that she has a very high, she has set a very high image, or she has set her lover on a pedestal. She has a very idealized image of her lover. So they do not want to present or they do not want to reveal themselves in their present state to each other. Okay, they know that the other person has a very perfect memory of their long lost lover, which is why they lie to the other person. Okay, so preserving the idealized youthful memories of their past romance and to avoid disappointment. Okay, why to avoid disappointment? Because in reality, what happens after Don Gonzalo was exiled from his native town, he goes away and within a few days time or within a few weeks time, he runs away with a ballet dancer, right? And Donna Laura, she also eventually moves on. She also marries somebody else, right? So they did not want to reveal the truths and disappoint the other person, which was another reason why they lied to their long lost lover and did not reveal their identities. So preserving the idealized youthful memories of their past and also to avoid disappointment. Moving on. How does the poet explain that one man's love is different from that of the others in the poem When You Are Old? Okay, so he addresses his love, telling her that in her younger days, she might think that many young people loved her for her beauty and youth. But there was only one whose love was sincere and genuine, and it was certainly the poet himself. The poet loved her not for her physical beauty only, but also loved her for her soul, namely her pilgrim soul, right, is as mentioned in the poem. He loved her for her pilgrim soul, meaning he loved her for not just for her outer appearance, he loved her for her character, okay, or who she was inside. It was the poet among all others who could feel for her and love her, because sorrow and suffering were depicted on her face. So when all else, or when every other suitor who were behind her fell for her outer beauty, it was the poet himself who fell for what she was inside, or for her pilgrim soul. Moving on, 21st question. To the foot from its child represents the conflict between illusion and real life. Elaborate. So the child's feet dreams of being a butterfly or an apple. So initially, that is how our life also goes, right? This is basically our life. So we have dreams, our dreams know no limits, right? So us in our childhood is a lot like the child's feet. So the child's feet has no limits to its dreams or ambitions. It dreams of being a butterfly or an apple. In the same way, we also have limitless dreams and ambitions. Okay, what eventually happens? The child's feet is exposed to the rough earth. The rough earth here is the harsh realities of life, just like us. Okay, we have limitless dreams and ambitions, but as we grow up, we realize the harsh realities of life, right? So this is difficult, that is difficult. So life starts beating us down, like Sylvester Stallone says in Rocky 5, right? You or me, nobody would hit us as hard as life would. So here it's the same thing. So the harsh realities of life start hitting us. So now as the child's feet gets exposed to stones, bits of glass, streets, ladders, etc., okay, and it hurts the child's feet. Okay, the child's feet realizes that the earth or the outer world is rough. The same way how we are exposed to the harsh realities of life. And at the end, the child's feet is defeated and condemned to condemned to live. Okay, condemned to live within a shoe, right? Condemned to live within a shoe, societal norms. So the shoe here refers to social norms. So the child's feet initially had a lot of dreams, but as it realizes that the harsh realities of life are, the realities are much more harsh, it cannot pursue its dreams. So it is restricted to within a shoe, or restricted within the societal norms. So finally the child's feet dies without fulfilling its dreams, right? Finally the child's feet dies without fulfilling its dreams, as it is buried deep beneath. It does not realize, or it does not fully, it does not realize its dream of becoming a butterfly or an apple. So dreams know no bounds, reality hits hard. Moving on. 22nd question. How does a poet create heaven on earth according to Kuvempu? The poet creates heaven on earth by celebrating the divine beauty of nature, specifically verdant gardens, tender sunshine, and roaring streams. By promoting love, peace, and harmony with the environment, the poet transforms ordinary life into a heavenly experience. Is your answer. 23rd question. Describe the playful yet risky interaction between drivers and pedestrians in Brazil, according to George Mikes. So, the writer, he uses sarcasm to highlight the rash and careless driving of Brazilians. Okay. So, how does he sarcastically portray the rash driving of Brazilians? He uses an analogy. What is an analogy? A comparison. So, he says the driver is the predator and the pedestrian is the prey. Okay. So he says that the drivers are on the lookout for pedestrians, and as soon as the driver notices a pedestrian step off the pavement, he takes aim and accelerates right towards the pedestrian. The writer uses the analogy of driver being a hunter and pedestrian being the prey. So he's basically sarcastically trying to say that the drivers in Brazil are rash and careless. Okay, and almost all the time they carelessly hit the pedestrians. And he uses the analogy of driver being a hunter and pedestrian being the prey. Moving on. The 4 markers. Answer any 3 of the following questions in about 100 words each. 24th question. Why did the King of Monaco keep changing his mind in dealing with the criminal in 2 Deer? So only the main points are written. So a lot of money was involved, right? Initially, when capital punishment was first, when the council decided that he should be punished with capital punishment, the king and the kingdom, the rest of the council realizes that there is an absence of guillotine or a specific instrument needed to execute this capital punishment. Okay, and getting a guillotine was a very expensive affair, right? So if they had to buy it from France, or even if they had to buy it from Italy, it would cost them a fortune. okay, which the sum was so big that a small kingdom like Monaco could not afford it, right? And what happens later? Later, the capital punishment is reduced to life imprisonment. And as it becomes life imprisonment, the criminal is given, say, he's put on house arrest with a royal guard, and food from the palace kitchen was being provided to him. Okay, and later what happens, as the auditing is done, the king realizes that extra 600 francs is going into this maintenance of this criminal, this prisoner. So again, it becomes a very expensive affair. So he removes the guard. So this is how every single time the king keeps changing his mind in dealing with the criminal, because Monaco being a small kingdom, it couldn't afford the expenses of executing the punishment, okay, which is why every single time the prisoner got away. 25th question. A sunny morning revolves around concealing one's own identity. Discuss. So Don Gonzalo, Don Gonzalo lies. What does he say? The gallant horseman was his cousin. Okay, when in reality he himself is the gallant horseman. He spins a false story glorifying the death of the gallant horseman. What does he say? His cousin, who is a gallant horseman, he goes to Africa and he joins the war. He joins the army, and in the war, he joined the army, went to Africa. He grasped the flag of Spain. So while holding the flag of Spain, he whispered the name of his beloved, Donna Laura, and he dies. Okay, so this is the false story that Don Gonzalo tells. What about Donna Laura? She also lies. Donna Laura says that the Silver Maiden was her friend. Okay, the Silver Maiden was a friend, when in reality Donna Laura herself was the Silver Maiden. What does he say? He says that she awaited news for weeks and months and wrote her beloved's name on the sand, on the beaches where her beloved died. So beloved's name on the sand, and she sat on a rock and she was swept away by the tide of the sea. So she also lies. So this is how the story revolves. Basically, the two main characters lying to each other and concealing their identities. So this is the main core of the play, A Sunny Morning. Okay, 26th question. Man lives for some kind of vengefulness. Without it, there would be no reason for his existence. Evaluate this statement in the light of the story The Gardener. So we have two main characters here, Tammanna and Basavaya, who are competing with each other. Okay, so they were competing to amass material wealth. Okay, they were competing to see who had more land, who made more friends, who had more money, to a certain point. Then Tammanna being the smarter of the two. He decided to punish Basavaya beyond physical means. Okay, what did he start to do? He started composing ballads or poems. Okay, and in each of these ballads, Basavaya was portrayed as a villain, a bad person. So Basavaya's reputation was destroyed. Okay, but later what happens? Later we see that Basavaya is somehow he's consoling himself. Okay, he tries his best. He's not as talented as Tammanna. He cannot compose ballads. What does he do? He tries to work on increasing his material wealth. He becomes rich in material wealth. He builds a big house, okay, a palatial mansion. He invites scholars. But every single person who comes to Basavaya's home, what do they say? You have everything in this world in your house, but there is something important that is missing. That is Tammanna's ballads. So Basavaya is again hurt. And at a later point, Tammanna falls ill. So when Tammanna falls ill, Basavaya is now happy. Okay, Basavaya is happy because health is wealth. Health is the most important wealth. And if Tammanna's health is damaged, Basavaya would win at the end, right? And Basavaya, this being the funny part of the story, Basavaya waits for Tammanna's health to deteriorate, okay? And Basavaya eventually dies, okay? So as Basavaya dies, Tammanna forgets his ballads. Why does he forget his ballads? Because Basavaya's existence or the rivalry with Basavaya motivated Tammanna to compose ballads. So as his rival dies, he loses the motivation. Okay, so Tammanna forgot his poems and lost all motivation because Basavaya was the motivating factor. Post his death, Tammanna becomes a nobody, a non-entity. Okay, we see this cat and mouse game, Tom and Jerry, the cartoon we see, right? Tom completes Jerry, Jerry completes Tom. Now, without Tom, will Jerry exist? No. Without Jerry, will Tom exist? No. Same thing with Batman and Joker, right? Batman completes Joker and vice versa. Okay. Batman would find life, what can I say, very difficult without Joker's existence. Joker would also find life very difficult without Batman. So basically trying to say that a rivalry is what fuels you. So rivalry is one of the vengeful qualities. So this is what Tamanna is also saying. Man lives for some kind of vengefulness. There is always some vengeful quality that man is looking out for. One of them being rivalry. Okay, so without it, there would be no reason for his existence. In this case, Tamanna saw Basavaya as a rival. So that was beyond materialistic. Okay, so post Basavaya's death, all that motivation to accumulate wealth or to sing ballads was lost, because at the end of the day, Basavaya was the one who completed Tamanna. Okay, moving on. 27th question. What are the views of Borges towards his mother? Borges believed his mother was an extraordinary woman, extremely kind to him. She was an intelligent and gracious woman. Use the adjectives as it is in the exam as well. Whom he believed that had no enemies. He deeply regretted that he could not be a happy man, so as to give her deserved happiness. He also believed he took her for granted. So this is your answer. 28th question. Give an account of Rufus' role as an election campaigner in the story The Voter. Rufus Okeke of the People's Alliance Party. He was an election campaigner working for the People's Alliance Party, and he was also the personal election campaigner for Marcus Ebe. Marcus Ebe was a candidate who was representing Umuofia, and he used to win from Umuofia. He was also the minister, right? And Rufus Okeke was a real expert in campaigning at all levels. Before, he had campaigned in village level, local government level, and even national level. So he was a campaigner with tons of experience in campaigning. He could predict the mood and temper of the electorate at any given time. Yeah. And he was also a master negotiator. Why was he a master negotiator? Because on the previous day of the election, as he goes to the village elders, okay, the village elders are demanding for more than what they got in the last election. So Rufus Okeke very brilliantly negotiates with them. Okay, and he reduces the bargaining amount. So you can see that he's a very good negotiator as well. 29th question. Explain the economic implications of cycling among the women in Pudukkottai. Women agricultural workers, quarry laborers, village health nurses, followed by Balwadi and Anganwadi workers have all benefited from cycling. So cycling provides improved mobility, it boosted income. Women sold agricultural or other produce within a group of villages using bicycles, eventually cutting down on time. It gave women much more time to focus on selling their produce and enlarge the area they hope to cover. So this is your answer. Yeah, reading comprehension, which we are skipping. Yeah, part D, that is the grammar part. Yeah, the first question. The lecturer in England told us to submit the first assignment on Monday. Yeah, the definite article comes. Submit the first assignment on Monday. Yeah, word order. You must find some cheaper way of dealing with this rascal. Yeah, you must find some cheaper way of dealing with this rascal is the correct order of words. Yeah. Next is a subject verb agreement. Biodiversity has been, it's singular, biodiversity has been the teacher of abundance. Next, in 2011, the UN General Assembly organized is correct. When the UN General Assembly organized a conference on harmony with nature. is correct. Yeah, moving on. Fill in the blanks with the right linkers. The old man started telling his story. After proceeding to some extent, he started to fumble as though he had committed a mistake is correct. She felt like going away, saying that it was none of her concern. However, she continued to sit there quietly because she did not want to hurt the old man. So the old man started telling his story. After proceeding to some extent, he started to fumble as though he had committed a mistake. She felt like going away, saying that it was none of her concern. However, she continued to sit there quietly because she did not want to hurt the old man. Moving on. Rewrite as directed. The question tag. He is a great actor. The helping verb is given. So, isn't he is correct. He is a great actor, isn't he? We played kabaddi during our school days. Frame WH question. What did we play during school days? What did we play during our school days is correct. So we played kabaddi during our school days. Frame WH question to get the underlined word as answer. What did we play during our school days? And as for the first one, he is a great actor, isn't he? Because we have the helping verb given here, is. So we use the same for the question tag as well. He is a great actor, isn't he? Moving on. Rectify the errors in the following sentences and rewrite them. Children likes sweets, it's like. So children like sweets. Like is the error. A sun rises in the east. Indefinite article, we should use the definite article. In the exam, you're supposed to rewrite the whole sentence, okay? Do not just write the error and the clarification. Rewrite the entire sentence, okay? Children like sweets and the sun rises in the east. Moving on. Note making. The Phantom is a fictional comic strip hero who was created by Lee Falk and an American. He lives in the fictional African country of Bangala, solving the problems of the tribal people. He is also called Mr. Walker, the ghost who walks. Lee Falk also created the character Mandrake the magician. So the Phantom was created by Lee Falk. And another name was Mr. Walker. His nationality, an American. Another creator created was Mandrake. It's a very easy 2-marker question, okay? And it's a short question. This will definitely come for your final exam as well. Moving on. The reported speech. Again, the answer is already written. Report the following conversation. So here is a conversation between Roof and the elders. It's taken from the voter. Roof, we have a minister from our village. Do you want him to lose in this election? The elders, no, we will not betray our son. We shall see him win. Roof, thank you for your support. So the answer. Roof said to the elders that they had a minister from their village. Why had? Have becomes had. And we becomes they. We becomes they here, have, had. So we discussed this before also. Simple present becomes simple past. So Roof said to the elders that they had a minister from their village. Are becomes their. Are becomes their, demonstrative. Their village, and asked if they wanted. So it's a question, yes or no question. Do you want him to lose in this election? So, and asked if they wanted him to lose the election. Why wanted? Because want becomes wanted. They wanted him to lose the election to which the elders replied in the negative. Why is in the negative given? Because no. So if it's no, you can write in the negative. If it is yes, you can write in the affirmative. So in the negative, saying that they would not betray their son. So we will, so will becomes would. So that they would not betray their son, and that they would see him win. So shall can become should also, would also, okay. So that depends on the situation. So said that they would see him win. Roof thanked them for their support. Thank you for your support. So Roof thanked them for their support. So this is how you write it. Moving on. Yeah, so conversation between a student and a teacher, very easy. You can write good morning sir here. So you see the answer, teacher, you can have the book. So it's a request. Can you please lend me this book, sir? Teacher, sure, you can have the book. Student, again, thank you. Thank you, sir. Is better, I guess. Yeah. So again, a very easy 3-mark question. Moving on. Yeah, the letter of application, 36th question. Write a letter of application in response to the following advertisement that appeared in the Deccan Times dated 1st November 2025. Keep in mind to write 4x for name and 4y for address. So if in the question they have given this instruction, follow this. Okay. If you write your own name and address, the evaluator will cut marks. So write 4x for name and 4y for address. So from address with name. So 4x and 4y should be written for from address, then followed by the complete date, followed by to address. You are given the to address here. The to address is given here, the designation also. So the manager and the to address. Then the salutation, respected or dear sir is also fine, dear sir, madam. Then the subject. Okay, application. Since it's a job application, you can write application for the post of, application for the post of office assistant. Then fill in the body of the letter according to the according to this advertisement that is given. Okay, and then attach the resume also. Keep in mind that letter of application is not just your formal letter, it is your formal letter plus resume. So write both. Okay, moving on. Imagine that you are the secretary of your students union and prepare a speech of about 120 words on World No Tobacco Day. So again, a formal introduction in a paragraph introducing all the chief guests and yourself. Then the second para wherein you how do you say, fill in the contents with using these points given. And then a conclusion, that is the third paragraph, compartmentalized accordingly. Okay, so we've discussed this multiple times, just doing a brainstorming, that is all. So this will roughly be how your final board exam paper will also be set. So I hope your preparations are going well. All the best for your final board exams. So I hope to do more such fruitful sessions. So tune in. Thank you.